So I'm looking back at the minutes of the last meeting we had, and I asked questions then about the possibility of a review of phase 1 on the Hills Road cycle lane. And the minutes say, in discussion it was identified that there was a need for clear communication regarding proposed road closures and diversions and improved project management going forward, with the need for the County Council to work closely with the City Council. Can I ask councillors when they found out that Hills Road is going to be closed to all traffic for 5 months, and via what route they found that information?
Councillor Moore.
We have a very active lady in the ward called Sam Davis, who kindly let me know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found out. Not that quickly.
Okay. Councillor Avery.
I read about it in the newspaper, I think, today.
I found out about it today as well.
Councillor Taylor, please.
Thank you. I was advised at about the same time as you, Sam, by the by the County Council Project Officer Vanessa Kelly. Personally, I have grave concerns about the road closure for 5 months between May and October. The council has said that there's many good reasons why a complete closure is a good idea. They say there's lots of good ideas for it. I've said there's probably many good reasons why we shouldn't have a complete closure 24 hours a day, and I've asked for a justification of that. I also think it's important that the council gives us evidence of where they predict that extra traffic is going to go, because it's obviously going to have an impact not only on people's journeys but also on the other roads where they have to have diversions. I think we need to know all that. I'd be very interested to hear from people about how they think it will affect them.
I can also say I heard it today as well. I got an email from the County Council through Vanessa, so we apologise for that. Councillor Moore.
I have a half-written email to you suggesting that this is a nonsense, and it's partly because of the project planning mechanisms that the County Council don't use, and second of all, they haven't explored the obvious option of doing one side and then the other side, or switching backwards and forwards so that one lane is always open for the predominant direction of the traffic going into town in the morning and coming out in the evening, and that would reduce the congestion and the complications very substantially. But that's what I will raise with them immediately that I can meet them.
Please.
I found out early from the leader of the City Council today what was going on, but it's the County Council, not the City Council, have done this, and I'll be blunt, I think it's unbelievable, bearing in mind the number of issues at South Area committees regards what's been happening on the overrun currently, what's taken place, on all the problems, and the fact we've had to drag them, and I repeat that, we've had to drag them down here to speak to residents. Sometimes they haven't even turned up when they've been asked, and to do what they've done shows a total blatant regard for residents, for councillors, about what's going on. And I think we should write back as an area committee pointing out we do not accept this kind of behaviour. Residents have voted for us to stand up for them and be advocates, and we can't be advocates when people for some reason believe they can just send an email out on a day and say this is what's happening regards any kind of future consultation, you know. So I think we need to go back in very strong terms and say we find this unacceptable.
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. If I could make one more point. The County Council is holding a couple of drop-in events. There is one tomorrow at Adam Brooks Hospital in the concourse between 12 and 2. That would be a good opportunity for individuals to go along and tell the County Council what they think of the plans. There's another one at St John's Church later this month.
26th.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that one's about something like 5:30 to 7 in the evenings. I think those are both opportunities to go along and say what you think to them.
That's fierce.
Well, I'm actually interested to hear that on a couple of counts. So, one, Councillor Moore, you were lucky to get an email. I don't think I even got one of those. If there are consultation meetings, first I've heard of it from Councillor Taylor right now, didn't know anything about that. And if it's only tomorrow, why aren't they here now? They could have come here now and spoken about it. This is the South area, they're in the South area, why don't they come to the South area meeting and actually speak to us? As when I sat in your chair, I got them to do last year, albeit kicking and screaming.
I'm glad not the only one that hasn't heard about this till just now. I just checked my email, I've heard nothing, and this is going to cause chaos in Flemington as well, because that traffic's got to go somewhere. This isn't the first time they've pulled this sort of stunt. At least they've told us this time. I come out of my house and found my own road shut by the county council with no notice. So I think we do need to be robust in our response to them.
So then it looks to me that there's an action point here for us to write to the county council and complain in the strongest terms. Now, shall we take Councillor Taylor, would you take the responsibility as a county councillor to write to them on our behalf? Or is it preferable for me to write?
Chair, I think you should write as chair on behalf of all the councillors,
okay.
although it's a county issue and they deserve the biggest kicking, shall we say. As all councillors, we want them to understand that it's the South Area Committee that represents what's going on.
Yep.
And I think as chair that should be...
That's fine, I will do that. Do you all agree?
Can we have a unanimous vote?
Can you see what? Yeah, okay, so the chair writes.
They need to be at the next meeting, Chair.
Yeah. And they need to be at the next meeting. And they go down there.
Sorry, isn't this also a city deal issue? Because this phase 2 of the scheme is city deal funded, and Councillor Leader Lewis Herbert is on the city deal board. So are you going to follow this up with city deal for us as well? Because there also board meeting, which we still haven't had a response about, and these issues feed into the design of the phase 2 scheme, of which we are just seeing pre-construction meetings, but no attempt to address issues raised. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sam Davies wants to come in.
Just to clarify, Councillor McPherson, these are not consultation events that are being run. They are exhibitions. There will be boards. People can go and look at them. There is no further
I was
consultation.
being kind there, Sam.
Well, that's more than I'm managing.
There's ambitious and welcome plans to redevelop the Queen Edith Way and Fendon Road roundabout, which have all been approved. Presumably the redirected traffic from the closure of Hills Road will go via that roundabout. Therefore this can't start until the second Hills Road phase 2 has completely finished. It's going to last till at least the end of this year, and that's just if they're on schedule, and given that the phase 1 lasted about 3 times as long as it was supposed to, we could be seeing Fendon Road roundabout plans not come to fruition before 2019 possibly, never mind that, 2018 at this rate. So do we have any idea about how that's going to be affected?
No? None of us has an idea.
Well, the Robin Hood junction is being looked at as well at the same time, so we're all...
It is a very valid point.
So and we've asked the officers when could that start, the Robin Hood junction, because they all fit in together, and that's the issue about these things, and that's why they should be at South Area. It's not just Trumpeton ward; it affects all the 3 wards, because if you do anything at Trumpeton, it comes to the Queen Edith, comes to Cherrington. So it might not be in our ward initially, but the knock-on effect will be coming down. So hence the reason why they need to come and be quite clear.
Can I just ask why the actual road closure is going ahead? Because we've heard about there's going to be a closure, but I'm not sure why. I just wonder if anybody knew why.
Councillor Moore might know.
Thank you. I'll answer yours in connection with responding to the children to understand what this is about. The number of cars coming into the city is increasing all the time. We want you and need you and all of the grown-ups who can to cycle as much as you can. It's much healthier and it's much better for you. And what we're trying to do, all of us, is to make safe cycle routes for you. Off the road, safe junctions for you to go over. Because it's the junctions and the roads where children and adults get hit most by the cars. So now let's come back to the gentleman's question. Each of these issues that we've been talking about, or developments, relates to cycle routes that are safe. And we have a safe one, predominantly safe, hopefully safer, coming down Hills Road, missing the road bridge, where there are lots of collisions, and missing the junctions, not lots, but a good few, and the junction with Long Road. That bit isn't finished yet. Both of those bits are at high collision rates. And then we go on to the next bit along, which is the big Adam Brooks roundabout. And that's a very dangerous roundabout. Now, plans for that have been approved to make it safe for cyclists and disabled people to get through. This other section hasn't, and we're in the phases now where ideas are being put to make that safe. But that hopefully that puts it in some kind of perspective.
Yeah. I'm still not sure why they're actually closing the road then.
I'm not either. I don't believe that I've had any reasonable explanation for that whatsoever. It might be convenient for them to do that, but it's not convenient for us residents or the commuters coming in and out, and it's probably not going to be safe for the people who are having to traverse that to get to Adam Brooks or to get to schools. So I want to question that loudly.
Maybe Councillor Taylor can help us a bit.
Thank you. As I said earlier, I have asked for a justification of why it's necessary to have a 24-hour closure of that part of Hills Road. Because we need to know what the reasons are and set those against the reasons why it should not be closed. I haven't had an answer to that yet, but I will, try to get that information out once I know. But in the meantime, I would very much like to hear from people as to the reasons why they don't want it closed, so that I can take that back to the County Council.
The gentleman with the red jumper, would you be kind enough to tell us who you are, sir?
Sure, my name is Timothy Sykes. I'm here today. I work on the Adam Brooks site, and I am active in Unison there, which is one of the major public sector trade unions. So in terms of the difficulties facing Hills Road, it has already, I commute by bus, not driving and wanting to be green. And there have already been major issues on the Hills Road. Year on year, I've been doing that journey for about 2 years. And I've noticed that I come in the morning just before 8 o'clock. I leave just at 4 o'clock. Going back, going towards town, there are already horrendous issues on Hills Road. And to hear that they are closing it is just going to provide even more problems. I spend probably, on a good day, I can be in town within half an hour. On a bad day, it takes an hour to get from Adam Brooks to the centre of town. And it is a real issue for people commuting. And I hope a viable solution can be attempted soon. Just on other transport matters in the area, Unison are unequivocally in favour of a rail hub to Adam Brooks, and it will mean that it will make traffic easier. I know you're discussing it later, but there is general enthusiasm from Unison and Unison's members for it, and I hope you will consider that in your discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes. Anything else? Oh, sorry. Shall I give it to the public first? Do you mind?
Hello, David Bridges from Queen Edith's Way Residents Association. The initial question was about communication of information to councillors and hopefully to local residents. It's rather alarming to hear what appears to be a lack of planning of the circulation of traffic, whether that section of Hills Road is closed entirely or even if it's just one side is closed, is going to cause, as I think has been acknowledged, considerable impact on the movement of traffic all around the area. So my comment or request is that the council should try both to have a coherent plan for that circulation and also to consult and to inform local residents what that plan is. At the moment we seem to be the very last to learn about anything, even after the poor local councillors who aren't terribly well informed.
Thank you. The lady with the glasses at the lady with the glasses at the back, please.
Yes, you asked reasons why there shouldn't be a closure. I've just had a couple of calls from
So your name, please.
Wendy Blythe, some elderly friends of mine who live on the side of the road, on the hospital side. I'm really worried about how if they're going to be, prisoners in their own homes, because they don't cycle. They have to use their cars. They live, good lives. They're still very active, and they say, why is it nobody ever thinks about, that age group? All these plans. So how are they going to manage?
Thank you. The gentleman next to you.
Hi, I'm Nigel Brigham. I'm from the biomedical campus, so I can't speak for the county, but I did go to an early meeting with them where they talked about it. So I think some of the logic as to why they're doing it is because the works that are happening are on both sides of the road, I believe. The major works, I think, are on the hospital side. I think they feel that it'll be a lot quicker to close the road. I think as they did in Cherry Hinton, it was a lot quicker to do the works here by closing the road and bypassing people around. The chances of keeping it going on one side, as they did on Hills Road, I guess it would take 2 or 3 times longer than if they did it by closing the whole lot. Now, I haven't seen the modelling, I haven't seen the details of what's going to happen. I'm going along to the concourse tomorrow to see what exactly is happening, but I'm sure that they're expecting traffic to go around 2 sides of the triangle. The other thing I understand is, of course, that it is quite difficult to put single-way working in when you've got that complicated junction of the Long Road and Hills Road junction, and it's actually probably work a lot easier to not try and make a strange arrangement of one-way working on the Hills Road side of it when you've got a junction that would work with 3 sides. That's my understanding of the logic, but I haven't actually seen the details. I do know that they've had discussions with the ambulance service, and there are ways for ambulance, there will be provision for ambulances to get through, and I'm pretty sure there'll be provision for the people who live on those houses to get in and out, I'm sure. But I'm surprised they haven't heard, to be honest. I don't know any more than that.
Thank you so much. Councillor Abbey.
Thank you, Chair. The nettle we grasp, in a nutshell, is cars. And people always thinking they've got a sound reason why they need to use their car. For 20 years in Cambridge, longer, we've been trying to encourage people to walk, to cycle, to use public transport, and to use their car when it makes good sense to use the car, not to jump into the car as the first recourse. I, and I suspect all the other councillors, take no pleasure in hearing that people feel they may be prisoners in their own homes because there's the traffic outside or the cycleways outside. But we do have to grasp that we each have a responsibility to use our cars more sensibly. I mean, today I walked down Hills Road and it was an absolute shambles. But if you looked at the number of people in the cars, the vast majority is one. We have to accept our own responsibilities to encourage our parents, our friends, use other ways. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ashton.
Yeah, it comes back to speaking to people about what the thoughts are. And I think if somebody came along and said, we can have roadworks like we did before, that should have been done in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, or we can get it done in 5 months, so there'll be short-term pain, but we can guarantee it gets sorted out, then residents might turn around and go, do you know what, maybe we can live with this. But it's the fact that when we've had delays in the past, when we've been assured of it, if they turn around now and say, yeah, it's 5 months, and that's it, and in 5 months' time they say, no, it's 6 months, it's 7 months. And Cherrington High Street, yeah, was closed, and we had to live with Cherrington High Street. But Cherrington High Street, it was the Residents Association who fought for the communications. Because what happened was, people woke up to find out they couldn't get out. And yet, it had been organised, supposedly, that notification would be sent. So it comes back to these people realising they need to talk to people rather than just send emails out or put things on the web. It's like, get people around the table and let's get back to the old-fashioned talking and consultation. And I hear what Donald says about cars, but cars will never disappear off the roads. And what we have to do is, when we take these major roadworks, is make sure everybody understands why we're doing them and the best ways of mitigating the pain it's going to take. And what is happening with this is not the best way of dealing with the mitigation that people are going to feel. And like I said, we need to go back and just remind these people that they are answerable to residents who live in these areas. And nobody wants to be prisoners on their in their own house. And like I say, in Cherrington we managed to avoid that happening as well, but only because the Residents Association ended up as the communicators, ensuring that there was regular notification going out every day to say this is what's going to happen. And we don't want to see that happening again, really. We should all know from day one what's going to happen and what it's about. You know, we're grown-ups, we shouldn't be hiding behind our emails and sending them out and hoping maybe nobody's going to read one or nobody's got theirs, what have you. Because you get caught out, as we've seen tonight. So the sooner, George, we can get that letter off to him and say, come and face up, the better.
So thank you so much for everybody's feedback. I think that summing up is really, we're all very unhappy the way the information is being communicated to us by the County Council. We need to really write to them in the strongest terms and insist that there is better communication, inform the people either in person, in leaflets, face-to-face, even including emails and so on and so forth. Yeah? Happy? Now we exhausted the time, we have 3 more questions here.